Welcome to a show. It's me, Dave Crane. I hope you're well. It was actually my birthday yesterday. I don't know if you know it was my birthday yesterday. If you did send me greetings, then thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful. If you didn't send me greetings, but you knew about it, then... And if you didn't send me greetings, you did know about it, we're getting round to it, I'll take them now. Oh yeah, just keep them coming. And I didn't do a show yesterday. The show I have got today was planned for yesterday, but I didn't feel like it. And I'll just be honest with you, because I do feel that sometimes I'm handling the lockdown really well, sometimes I'm not. I do this show partly as therapy, but partly because it drives my business, and partly because I want to help people. So it's a combination of things that just has kind of merged together. But yesterday I woke up, it was my birthday, and I had a couple of things that happened. I had a business challenge that was looming in my head that had to be addressed, which we addressed. It was fine. I also had politics on my mind, as many people do. And at the time of it, and I don't normally say what my politics are and who I would support, but I'm a black guy, so you can probably guess. It wasn't running well at the time. It feels a bit more comfortable, and I shouldn't really care because it's not my country, but I just do feel that the world is a different place. As a result of the decision that's coming up soon and the decision that's been for the last 4 years. Staying out of politics as much as possible. But when people said to me about Black Lives Matters, Dave, what do you think about Black Lives Matters? And I've not really talked about it on this show. I felt the need to do something about it, and the need to make a stand, and the need to support people and say how important it is that we don't have racism and we do see the world as equal, and we see that everyone's got different values and different reasons that they should be happy, and we do have a genuine need to have opposite sides of the argument. Otherwise you end up being a yes man, and you end up not being able to shape the best answer. I need to have people around me who say, Dave, you're full of it. I don't believe you. You're wrong. Because then I can shape it and come up with something better. If everyone says yes all the time, I don't grow. It's like, for instance, in genetics, if you only marry into your own people, typically let's back to the ancient gods of Greece or Egypt, where we used to believe that what you should do is marry into your own family, sisters and brothers. And so that's ultimately what happened in Egypt amongst all the pharaohs. And they were all born with birth defects. The genetic gene pool works best when you spread it as wide as you possibly can and bring the best of everybody together. Just like a buffet tastes nicer when you got spicy this and that. But that's true for me, my opinion of life. So people say to me, Dave, what's your opinion on Black Lives Matters? And one of the reasons for doing this show is very simply, without taking a political stand, I can reach a ton of people and just be another black face out there supporting and helping and proving that it can be done. Now that might sound very subtle, and it is subtle, it's meant to be subtle, but let's put it this way. If I was to go for an audition at CNN or an audition for, I don't know, Stephen Colbert's show or anything like that, I wouldn't get it. Why? I don't know, lots of different reasons, but the point is I don't want to go for those things. I want to just do my own thing. And whether I've got 10 people watching or 10,000 or 10 million, I don't care. I want people to appreciate if they're here or not appreciate if they're here. It's up to them. I remember going back years and years ago when ultimately I started my first stage hypnosis show in Dubai. One of my first paid ever gigs for stage hypnosis. I'd gone to Vegas, trained to be a stage hypnotist, came out to Dubai. Nobody knew what it was, which was good and exciting because I was bringing something new. But at the same time as it being good and exciting, it was also kind of weird and irrelevant, because if you say I'm a stage hypnotist, come to my show, they say, I don't know what that means, and no, which is kind of disappointing. So anyway, I did my first show. I set up my first show, and that was at the Irish Village with my dear friend Dave Katanak, who was the general manager. He said, no worries, we'll sort it all out for you. We'll book you the big room that the tennis stars use for having their meet and greet parties. We'll set it all out, buffet, everything. It'll be a great deal. So the Irish Village in Dubai is one of the most iconic restaurants and bars on the planet. I mean, everyone who comes through Dubai, who goes to the airport, pops there for a little bit, and it's brilliant. Live music, great staff, really friendly, looks gorgeous, everything. So around the back of there, in the tennis stadium, I've got my hypnosis show waiting to happen. So I've set it out. I'm expecting about 150 people, got food for 150 people. And as I've got this set up, I've got advertising all over the Irish Village. So I've got posters of me, come to my hypnosis show, and stuff like that. And it's just not working. I go into my first night, I've got it for 4 nights, go into my first night, and I see 30 people sitting there, all eager, all keen to see me. Now, the way that it works with a stage hypnosis show is about 1 in 10 people are very susceptible to go deep into a hypnosis, and you can get them to do all sorts of crazy things and have a real laugh with them. 1 in 10 is your ideal number. So you've got 30 people, that means 3 people will be great subjects, should go straight in, and they can do crazy stuff. The rest of them you have to work really hard, and sometimes they come out of it early, and it's a challenge, but that's what an insider would know if you're a hypnotist. So I thought, right, we've got 30 people in here. There's a chance to go and get the 2,000 out there who clearly don't know about it. Let me go and have a chat with the manager. So I went over to the supervisor at the time, Dennis, our acting manager. I said, Dennis, do you mind if we get your entertainer, your guitarist, to announce as a stage hypnotist next door, and I'll give them a 50% off if they come round. I'm going to start it in 5 minutes. Just let them know that. I thought it was 2,000 people. If you all know about it, we'd be quite excited. Maybe we get another 100 people walking around. Conservatively, it's mainly a Western audience. They're up for hypnosis shows, but don't see them very often. So he said, yeah, go and have a chat with the guy who's a guitarist. So I went over to the guitarist. Can't remember what his name is. I said to him, would you do us a favour? I've checked with your management. They say, can you announce the fact that I'm next door, I'm doing a show, and invite people to a hypnosis show? He says, no problem. I said, it's 50% off, so it's only 50 dirhams, and we start in about 5 minutes. He goes, no problem at all. So he finishes playing his song, whether it's Wonderwall or American Pie or whatever it was, and finishes his show, and then as soon as he's finished singing his song, he says, next door, we got a hypnotist, starts in 5 minutes, 50 dirhams. And now here's another song. And that was it. So I'm standing next to him, and that was his announcement. Literally, he could have said, do you want to hear me burp? Or, what does this sound like when I do that? It was a complete waste of time. So I'm looking around and nobody's looked up, because those 10 seconds that he gave me, they're just busy having a food or drinking or chatting or having a great time or singing their own songs. So I walked back with my tail between my legs, not literally because that would be gross, to next door. And as I walked that next door, I think, Dave, you're a life coach, you're a business coach, you're a hypnotherapist, for goodness sake. You're feeling down about this. How can you reframe this whole situation so you feel more comfortable about it? And I thought, well, you're looking at the lack of people here. You're looking at the fact this is a food emporium set up for 150 people to sit and eat and have a great time at your show. But you're ignoring the 30 people who said, I want to see Dave that evening. They're the ones you look after. Not the other people who didn't turn up, because you can't do anything about it anyway. So with that, I walked in and I said, hi guys, thank you so much for coming along. I know there's less people here than we thought was going to be here, but here's what I suggest. Why don't we get everyone to move to the front? So of the rows that we had about, I don't know, say 10 rows. So I'm just guessing. I got everyone to move to fill up the first 2.5 rows. And then I spent some time getting everyone to say hello to each other, so it felt like a family atmosphere. Because if we're going to get crazy, let's get crazy, but not feel embarrassed about who we're working with. So we did that. I started the show, and it was a great show. It wasn't the best show I've ever done, because obviously bigger numbers mean you got more people to pick from, to do crazy stuff. But I made a show. It was hypnosis. It was really funny. Everyone enjoyed it. I learned a major lesson about who you are playing to. Look after whoever's interested in your stuff, even if it's only one person, you. Loads of people may be great if they add the figures, but you don't need to necessarily do that, because not everyone's going to like you. Some people hate me. I'm sure there's people who watch a show don't like me, want to see me make a mess of myself, make a fool of myself, do all sorts of stuff. Hopefully they don't stay around very long, but they might do, and they're welcome to. I'm interested in the people who want to learn something from me, who I can help. And so whatever you're doing in your business, that's a massive focus. And I hope that helps you think about things. So with that in mind, get yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. I've got my Christmas mug here, and then I'll tell you what all this show's about. And it's a pleasure having you here with me, broadcasting live to Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So with that, the show today is all about happiness. In fact, to be honest with you, the show is all about this thing, which you might have seen from the beginning. The things that are top secret, that are truths in your life that nobody has ever told you, but I'm going to share with you now. And this show is built about happiness. Not just if you're challenged because of the normal mental health challenges that we talked about being in lockdown. I mean, we'll address how you get out of the house safely as well in a separate show, because I'm dealing with that myself. It's a bit of a challenge. I've stayed locked down for about 8 months, popping out and again. I went for a meal yesterday and so on. But I've got friends saying, let's connect and let's do something. Let's do it safely. Let's have a barbecue outside. We'd have to go inside. And I'm thinking, yes, no. And I do buy into it. But I've got to get my head around it as well while staying safe. Because at the same time, we don't know what the virus can do. And we only go by the fact that what we've done so far has kind of worked for most people. So today's show is about happiness. It's all about revealing secrets. It's all about sharing with you inner truths that I think will help you make your life easier and make it better. We've got a great video from Stephen Fry all about what happiness is truly all about. I'll introduce to you the concept of ikigai, if you haven't seen it before, which is a Japanese art of finding what your life should truly be all about and then doing something with it. And those people who live in Okinawa in Japan live to over 100 because they use this principle. And when you've got a global pandemic and people are being really depressed, this could help you quite a lot. We look at in the special section on the deep dive. You can have a look at this. Let me just open it up for you. 15 ways to make your life happy. And then on the final part, I'm going to share with you my 10 secrets that I use in my business. I use my personal life. I use my business. Excuse me. Burping is not one of them. My personal life, my business life. And I think that with this, you'll be fully empowered to go out and do incredible things throughout your entire day and hopefully beyond. So if that's of use to you, then it's been a pleasure. If it's not of use to you, then hold on. It's going to be a bumpy ride anyway, because we're going to have a lot of fun regardless. Now, before we start anything, I want to share with you one particular thing. And this is something I talk about because it's the Industry Icon program. But I've got a special free gift for you, because when you start working on this, it helps you understand every single show that I do. Let me explain. It's the Industry Icon, okay? So with this, if you haven't heard of the Industry Icon, here's what we're aiming at. I love your thoughts, I love your ideas, I love your comments, by the way, especially today if they're all about life and happiness. What's your secret to life and happiness, apart from watching the show, which clearly helps? But here's what I want to share with you as a free gift. If you go to, let me just turn it back to the original first page, right? SpeakOnstage, which is a show. I'm Dave Crane, nice to meet you. We've been through that, I know. And today's about money. But it's not about money, because money can't buy you love. Unless you go to certain places where you meet certain people that'll give you love for money. And I should know what I'm talking about, and I don't know what I'm talking about. So moving on. Speaking on stage is all about getting you to brand yourself and to create a personal brand and be able to speak on stage and grow your relationship. On stage and off stage, online and offline. It means doing stuff like this to help your marketing, but also to position yourself differently. And so what I want to do is give you the ability to have a freebie from me. It's a free survey to work out, score out 40 for how good you are at doing this in your life, how good your brand is, because from that you'll be able to work on making it stronger. So let me explain and illustrate exactly to you what that actually means. So you go to SpeakOnstage.com and you should see this page, okay? And then you should be able to see above you here, or if I go more precisely, we'll do it with this hand. Here, there you go, because it's in reverse when I'm on camera. Work it out, science at school, when you're about 9. Okay, so if you click that gold button that says Industry Icon, then what it's going to do is take you to a new site, which will look like this when you arrive. The Industry Icon site. And then you'll see a big green button that looks like this one over here. See that? It says take the free survey, and you press it. Like I'm rubbing my shoulder for no real reason there. You press that, and what it does is it takes you to the survey. Just put your details in. It's completely free, and you can see how positioned you are to be able to take advantage of becoming a brand online, your social media, make connections, and I've got a specific roadmap you can use to be able to move forward with it. And at the end of that, if you decide that you want to have a chat with me or you want to get the roadmap, you can fill it in and get the details. I'll be doing a 10-second, not 10-second consultancy. Yeah, 10 seconds. Yes, you're rubbish. Bye. No, it's not like that. It'll be a 10-minute consultancy, but you have to be able to be interested in becoming an industry icon player to position yourself as one of the best in your industry. If you're just saying, Dave, hi, then I'll go hi now, and you've saved yourself some time and me as well. Similarly, if you're going to ask me for a job, I don't have jobs for you. I'm quite busy and I run my show on my own. Yes, I do. I know, kind of impressive, isn't it? No? Well, it should be. Okay, so that's the Industry Icon program. I'll tell you more about that later on. Meanwhile, let's get stuck into the show. It's all about happiness. It's a pleasure having you here. Let's reach out and discover what the science of happiness is truly all about on Speak on Stage.
In order to understand how to be happy, we need to look at how we think. There are 3 different ways we react to everything around us. The first is by wanting. We're brought up in a culture where we're told that we need to obtain something or reach a certain goal in order to be happy. Oh, we need to get that new phone. We need to get a bigger TV. We need to get that promotion. We need to take a picture of this meal and put it onto Instagram. But if you think back to any major purchase you made or achievement you reached or picture you posted, sure, you felt happier for a while, but soon after, you were back on the hunt. Every single time you end up finding yourself back at your original level of happiness, only this time with less money in your wallet and more wrinkles on your face. So it's safe to say happiness doesn't lie in the wanting category. The second way we react is by rejecting. From the moment we wake up, our mind automatically starts to look for things to reject around us. Ugh, I feel so tired, but I have to go to work. Ugh, it's so cold, I don't want to leave my bed. We reject others. Ugh, he's so awkward. Ugh, why can't this cashier do his job properly? We reject ourselves. Ugh, I'm so out of shape. Ugh, why am I such a loser? Again, it's safe to say there isn't much happiness here either. The third way we react is by zoning out. When we're confronted with a task that's quote-unquote boring, like commuting to work or waiting at the doctor's office, we tend to zone out. Everything becomes sort of hazy. It's almost as if you put on a black and white filter over your eyes, your brain goes onto sleep mode, and your mind is either lost in the past, over past regrets, or lost in the future, filled with anxiety about things that might go wrong. Doesn't sound like a fun place to be. These 3 ways of reacting make up over 99% of the way the average person goes about his day-to-day life. No wonder they're unhappy. So how do I become happy? Well, there's actually a 4th way of reacting, something that we only experience once in a blue moon. It's here where happiness really lies. It's the way you reacted when you visited the Grand Canyon for the first time. It's the feeling astronauts describe when they see the Earth from outer space. It's the way you were when you were younger, able to spend hours just looking at bugs and pictures. It's called mindfulness. Think of it as the opposite of zoning out. You're zoning in, being hyper aware of everything in front of you. The way something feels, the way it moves, its smell, its taste, all of its features, and nothing else. This means there's no room for wanting, no room for rejecting, and you're certainly not zoned out. All of your focus is just on the exact thing or event happening right in front of you. There is no judgment. There's simply room for you to take it all in. And when you react to things and events with mindfulness, happiness follows and it stays for good. By simply learning how to focus on what's in front of you, you make room for happiness in your life. And the only way to become more mindful in your reactions on a day-to-day basis is by practicing meditation. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are watching this thinking, oh God, this is some hocus pocus nonsense. I've heard about meditation. It makes no sense. I'm not going to sit down and do nothing for 10-20 minutes. But there are literally hundreds of studies backing up this claim, which will be the topic of our next video. The benefits of meditation and the scientific evidence to back it up. So if you've been looking for the answer to the life-old question of how to be happy, look no further. Stop looking for a shortcut, because I can just about 100% guarantee you the answer lies in mindfulness and meditation. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to dive deeper into these concepts, so please subscribe, click on the bell icon to make sure you don't miss the next video, and stay tuned, guys.
So there's your first interesting video. I don't buy into everything that guy said, so mindfulness and meditation is not the answer to everything, but it's a very useful tool to be able to calm you down and to give you the clarity of your vision, of get you de-stressed and allow you to see the whole world in perspective. And if you've got a roadmap, it helps you to anchor your roadmap and your goals and your vision board to be able to move forward faster. So next up, we've got a really nice video from Stephen Fry, which I really enjoy. Stephen Fry, if you don't know who he is, famous comedian, TV presenter, actor, author. And one of the things I find fascinating about him, and it's not mentioned in this particular video, all about humanists and the humanist view of life, is he had a quote that I loved that nobody's said before or since, because I've gone through a number of different changes in my life. And that doesn't mean, I'm building up to have a change. But what I'm saying is, I found that many occasions in my life, things altered into a different direction. I did a new career, or I had an interest in a new activity. And whenever I explained to people that I was going from being, say, for instance, I sold insurance. I was a law student, and I went to sell insurance, and then I became an entertainer. And then I became, after that, an events organizer. And then a journalist who worked for the BBC. And then I went off to work on holiday resorts. And then I worked in radio and TV. And then I went on to become a hypnotherapist. People turned around to me and said, but that's ridiculous. How can you change into all these things? Surely you're just lost and you don't know what you're doing. And Stephen Fry came up with a really interesting phrase. He said, it's called having a lifestyle, a portfolio lifestyle. A portfolio lifestyle. So a portfolio, when you're going to show somebody your artwork, and you open up and you show them all the different pictures, but your lifestyle is about amassing and creating different areas of expertise that you get to a certain level, you go, you know what, that's enough. I've had enough of that. I still love it, but it's not the be-all and end-all. I don't just want to do one thing. I want to do a number of different things. And it doesn't mean you're rubbish at them because you've moved on. It just means you've got to a point where I've had enough of that. Like, for instance, if you're having your food and you've got your starter, your main course, and your dessert, you might do your starter and go, that's enough of that. But you do your main course and you say, I'll leave a bit of a gap for my dessert. That's what we're talking about with your life. It doesn't mean you have to finish all of it and get to, an empty plate. It just means you say, I want to try something else. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it all comes together. And I've been blessed in my particular career to see that my hypnotherapy, my entertainment on stage, my ability to speak, my childhood on stage stuff, my caring as a therapist, all these elements have come together for me. And one of the things you won't know about me, obviously my name's Dave Crane because it says so here. Crane is not it's my original name, but not my family's original name. My family's original name was Crone. C-R-O umlaut H-N. Now, Crone is also the name of Dr. Crone, who was the guy who diagnosed Crohn's disease. That's my great uncle, granddad, somebody in my family. So it doesn't surprise me that I've had this medical side in me, naturally built into me, that wants to help people. And becoming a hypnotherapist made sense. My father was almost a doctor, but he had to look after a family, so he didn't do the studies. But all the way through, he's diagnosing and has been brilliant at it. And this other side, which is me, which is the entertainment side, because it's genetically built in. So you didn't know that, but I thought I'd share it. And you might not believe it, and I don't really care, but it's true. I can prove it, but I won't. But I could, but I won't. Anyway, Stephen Fry, you're watching Speak on Stage.
How can I be happy? Some people believe that there is one single meaning of life. They think that the universe was created for a purpose, and that human beings are part of some larger cosmic plan. They think our meaning comes from being part of this plan and is written into the universe waiting to be discovered. A humanist view of meaning in life is different. Humanists do not see that there is any obvious purpose to the universe, but that it is a natural phenomenon with no design behind it. Meaning is not something out there waiting to be discovered, but something that we create in our own lives. And although this vast and incredibly old universe was not created for us, All of us are connected to something bigger than ourselves, whether it is family and community, a tradition stretching into the past, an idea or cause looking forward to the future, or the beautiful wider natural world on which we were born and our species evolved. This way of thinking means that there is not just one big meaning of life, but that every person will have many different meanings in their life. Each one of us is unique, and our different personalities depend on a complex mixture of influences from our parents, our environment, and our connections. They change with experience and changing circumstances. There are no simple recipes for living that are applicable to all people. We have different tastes and preferences, different priorities and goals. One person may like drawing, walking in the woods and caring for their grandchildren. Another may like cooking, watching soap operas, savouring a favourite wine or a new food. We may find meaning through our family, our career, making a commitment to an artistic project or a political reform, in simple pleasures such as gardening, in hobbies, or in 1,000 other ways, giving rein to our creativity or our curiosity, our intellectual capacities or our emotional life. The time to be happy is now, and the way to find meaning in life is to get on and live it as fully and as well as we can.
So that's fascinating. I love that whole breakdown of what life's all about. And I have no problem if anybody has a different view of what their life is about. It's literally about making it work for you. If you feel that there's a need to feel that there's a higher power that's driving you, or it's a different higher power, or maybe that the universe is an accident, or maybe that you are on your own, but you're doing it connected to people, I don't care. As long as you're going through getting most out of life, it makes you happy, and you're making other people happy as you go, then it doesn't matter how you get to the end result. That's the thing for me that matters most of all. And so next up, I'm going to share with you a thing called Ikigai. Now, I mentioned that earlier. Ikigai is something that's a way of living. In fact, I'm going to share it with you. Now, think about it. I'm going to share it with you properly. I have a diagram around here somewhere. In fact, I'm going to have to close down about 5,000 screens to be able to show you exactly what we're talking about. Oh, hold on. Right. Bear with me, bear with me. I've got a number of different folders here which have got things that you can't see, but trust me, it is utterly fascinating and wonderful. Here we go, Ikigai. Right, so this is the idea of Ikigai. I'll stop the music. I'll stick my head to that side so you can see me. Hi, it's me, I'm Dave. Right, are you looking? Good? Yes, here it is there. So this diagram is about what you need to do to make yourself happy, to get your Ikigai. It's got 4 different circles, because the next video I'm going to share with you is going to explain everything about it. And I'm sorry for looking slouchy, but if I don't do it this way, you'll not be able to see me at all. So, there you go. So, the yellow circle is what do you love doing in your life that makes you happy. The blue circle at the bottom is what can you be paid for. The green circle at the side is what are you good at, and the sort of peachy circle at the other side is what does the world need. When you get all 4 of them and you write down the list and see what interconnects, you end up getting your Ikigai. If you only get a couple of them, you work out your profession, your passion, your mission, and your vocation, and they might not all end up with the same thing. But if you can get them all to work together, then you end up doing what you love and you're really good at it. You can be paid really well for it, and the world needs it. That's where you really want to be. And I think that, for instance, with doing this show, I feel like I've got an Ikigai. I think I'm on the way to an Ikigai. I train people in the Industry Icon program. I create training for companies so their management can communicate more effectively. I get to talk a lot. I get to share ideas with people, and it makes me feel passionate about what I do in my life. I feel that's closest to my Ikigai. And it also means that because I can be daft, I don't grow up, ever. I just enjoy that whole process of being me. So I think, does that make sense to you? I'd love that idea, if that it does. If it doesn't, then you need to find your Ikigai. It's probably nothing related to mine, but it's important you do find yours just so you get those levels of happiness to make it a big difference for you. Okay, with that in mind, let's go to the next video to explain more about how to find and use your Ikigai on Speak on Stage.
Why don't we commit suicide? Why do we get up in the morning? What is the meaning of life? Questions that we need to answer at some point in our lives, professionally or personally. The Japanese concept of ikigai answers these questions by finding our reason for being. What is ikigai, and how can we use its lessons to find meaning and happiness? Ikigai is the happiness of always being busy, both professionally and in our day-to-day. It is the passion and talent we have that gives meaning to our days and drives us to share the best of ourselves with the world. When looking for our professional ikigai, we can ask ourselves 4 questions. What do we love? What are we good at? What does the world need? And what can we be paid for? Ikigai is found at the intersection of these 4 questions, where passion, mission, vocation, and profession meet. The characteristics of everyday ikigai are finding flow in everything we do and remaining active, taking it slow and not worrying, cultivating good habits, including good nutrition, nurturing good friendships, living an unhurried life and exercising daily, being optimistic and smiling, reconnecting with nature, giving thanks and having resilience, cherishing wabi-sabi or the imperfection of life, and living by ichigo ichie, the knowledge that this moment exists only now and won't come again. By finding our professional ikigai and living according to its characteristics in our day-to-day, we can lead meaningful and fulfilling lives. On the Japanese island of Okinawa, people live among the longest in the world. Their secret? Living according to ikigai and thereby constantly maintaining their happiness.
Welcome back. Great video, that one, but really creepy when you hear that woman's voice and you realize it's a bloke that they've voiced over a little old lady. Well, I found it creepy. You're probably going, no, Dave, it's fine. No, it's not. It's creepy. Trust me. People shouldn't talk like that. That's like when somebody goes, get out. Who was that? That was the house. Okay, I'm leaving the house. I don't want to stay here anymore. Is nobody here? No, that was the house speaking. I will go. That's the kind of creepiness from that video. But the ikigai thing is pretty cool. Right, I'll get through this quickly because I think it's a really important thing. I was searching for it this morning and I thought, well, what's the easiest way to make you happy? And you can see this here on lifelabs.psychologies.co.uk. I think Psychologies is a magazine. This is by Sam Cleesby. And I looked at a lot of different articles for you this morning, but this one that came out is the one that I like most of all. So here we go. And it's also easy to remember, so you might want to make a note of this. 15 points about making your life happier. First of all, make your own happiness a priority. If you don't look after your happiness, how can you help anybody else? If you're happy, you've got an abundance of joy, and with that happiness, it spreads to people. It's infectious. So when you go around and finding things and spinning things to make you happy, you also know how to do it for other people. Number 2 is spend time with people who make you happy. Spend less time with people who don't make you happy because they bring you down, make you depressed. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't work with people or hang around with people who make you upset. Sometimes you have to, but limit it and protect yourself. So whatever they say, whatever they do, can have limited damage to your happiness. I know that sounds like you should get rid of your family or get rid of your friends, and possibly you should. All right, number 3, take responsibility for your own life. If you don't take responsibility for what happens in your life and you give it to somebody else, then you end up with a life that goes up and down like that all the time, but you feel powerless with no control. At least if you know that everything that happens, you can make an influence on what happens next, then you can get something really exciting out of it, and you feel empowered and in control, and that makes you happier. Number 4, be yourself. Everybody else is taken. This is true. Be the best version of yourself that you can be, and also work on who you truly are. When you start working, I mean, I know my thoughts are, I'm sure I'm fat, my hair's probably well past its sell-by date, having a hairstyle like this. I'm going grey. I'm not turning into Morgan Freeman or blooming George Clooney. I'm probably turning into... Who am I looking like? like a black John Oliver, possibly. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. I know my limits. I know what I do, and I don't care. I'm more than happy being Dave Crane. And people don't like it, yes, they can kiss it. Number 5, create your own happiness. Work out what makes you happy. Listening to music, eating certain foods, chatting with people, playing the games, whatever you do. Create your own happiness, understand it, and do more of it. That's very important. Number 6, find the silver lining in everything you do. Everything you do, the downsides, the terrible things that happen to you, there is a silver lining, a tiny one sometimes, where you're going, well, what did I learn from that? That learning from that was the lesson. Take the silver linings, because it also stops you hesitating to get into stuff. If you know that something will happen and it might work out to be terrible, but you'll learn something from it, that means you throw yourself into stuff more. Most people don't. They burp like I just did, or they stay inside their comfort zone and never get anything out of life. They just sit there burping on a live show in front of thousands of people saying you're gross. Who'd want to do that? Number 7, be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to other people, be kind to anybody who's kind to you. If you're thinking kind, you send it out. Now, I'm not saying be stupid. I'm not saying giving everything away. But even when I'm angry with people and I make a decision. If I'm going to be angry at that manager in that restaurant because I've had bad service, I'm going to tell them why I'm not coming back. But I'm going to do it with kindness and say, can I just have the quick word? Your restaurant sucks. And let me tell you why. And that's why I don't want to come back. Now, I hope you're taking the right way. If you don't, that's your choice. But anyway, I wouldn't be that blunt, but I wouldn't stop being forceful about it. That way they've got a checklist of things that they can do to fix it or not. But at least I've helped them before I walk out and smash the place up and set up a fire alarm. No, I wouldn't. I'm joking. Costs money. I've never done it either. Never been caught doing it. Moving on. Number 8, be open. Just be open, be transparent. Tell people what's going on. You don't have to tell them everything. But if you try and hide things and build a little cocoon around yourself, you end up spending more time keeping that cocoon than actually spreading out and making relationships with people. So be open, be transparent. Don't hold on to too much and don't hoard too much. I'm not saying you shouldn't hold on to your inner thoughts. Don't tell everybody, oh, how are you? You look like poo. Really? Yeah. Well, I feel like poo now. Why would I do? No, I'm just saying because I thought it was funny. Have a nice day. And the other person's going, don't do that. But be open to people approaching you and be open to help people. But remember, be kind if you share anything with people. Leave everybody better off than you found them. And that's kind of key. I'll talk about that with the attitude of gratitude in a future episode. Number 9, let go of the past. Things that have happened in the past you can't change. It's done. I know, and this is the world's smallest violin feeling sorry for you for what happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm not saying it's not sad, but you can't change it. But what you can do is change your relationship with it. Sometimes that means going to a therapist or a hypnotherapist and getting it all sorted out. And sometimes it just means, you know what, I can't change it, so let's move forward. And you put your focus onto what's good for you in the future, and you don't even think about what's on the past. Many people can't. They think about what's in the past, and they can't move forward because of exactly that point. Does that make sense? Yes, Dave. Thank you. All right, number 10, take a chance. Take risks. Worry about what could happen rather than what couldn't happen. Okay, work out what's the worst that could happen. Something terrible. But you know what? Something better could come along. And see life as a learning curve. Everything I've done from starting this show is a learning curve. Does a show go on too long? Maybe, but I haven't turned it into a podcast yet. A podcast is about an hour long. So if I can create a video podcast, I can then turn it into an audio podcast at the same time. And I know people jump into the show and disappear and jump in and that's fine. I'm doing it my way. I'm taking a chance because I'm enjoying the results and hopefully as a result you're here as well. So you're doing it too. Number 11, be mindful. Understand what the world's about. It's an opportunity to take it in. You know, look around, say, oh, I love my phone, I love people, I love this. And when you say that I'm open to it, you get amazing things from it. That's called mindfulness. All right. Number 12 is this. Concentrate on the things you control and not the things that you can't. As I said before, win the battles you can win. We've done more of it on this as a whole episode dedicated to fighting the battles that you know you can win, as opposed to the ones that you know you can't. Concentrate on the things that you can make a difference on, because that means that at least, even if it's a tiny little contribution you can make, it makes a huge difference. I know I'm not going to be snapped up by the TV stations to say, Dave, we want you to work with us. I don't care. What I can do is provide something for free for you every single day on YouTube, and there's a back catalogue you can watch and so on, and that helps me help you, help me help you. I'm a bit confused now. Number 13, face your problems and make a positive change. Yeah, don't go la 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 la. Just deal with it. The faster you get to deal with things that are a pain in the butt, you can get rid of them and move forward. And it's clear sailing into the future. Blue Ocean Strategy is part of that. You should Google it. All right, number 14. Appreciate the things that you have, because you never know when you look at somebody else who's got more than you, what they've had to deal with to get that. My dad said to me a phrase when I was younger. I often complained about having no shoes until I found the man who had no feet. Amazing, isn't it? And last but not least, number 15, love those around you. And do, because it doesn't matter who you've got around you. They're real people. They want to be in a relationship of some description. Now, some people you shouldn't love and you shouldn't be in a relationship with because they're toxic, in which case love them from a distance but keep them at an arm's length. But for those around you, appreciate them. You can't hug them, you can't kiss them the same as we used to, but you can have some incredible relationships just Zooming. Have Zoom cups of tea and cups of coffee and Zoom lunches and connect with people in a safe manner, because you never know when they won't be around anymore. And I mean that in most positive but realistic view. So there you go. If you like this article, lifelabs.psychologies.co.uk, written by Sam Cleesby, 15 amazing ways to make your life happy. And I particularly like that. Love your thoughts. Love your comments. As always, please share, like, and subscribe. And this is Speak on Stage. Right, time for the cheat sheets, your chance to work out what the whole show is about in the first place, which is top 10 secrets and truths that we never told you. And that's me on stage at NASA. Yes, it is. Dave, were you at NASA? Yes, I was. Really? Yes. Really? Yes. Really? Yes. That's why it says NASA. See, that's why I'm playing dramatic music. Because that's what they play, because everyone trains to be James Bond. They don't really play music, it's more like that. Chilled out. Good. Alright, so here's my thoughts on what I've learned, and it was all meant to be intended to, I was going to show you this on my birthday, about the things that they never told me, but I think are really important life lessons. So I want to share them with you, because they mean a lot to me, and I think they'll mean a lot to you as well. Okay, so there's me again, that's me sticking my arms up at NASA, but that's not what I learned. And it's from my perspective, but I think it'll make a lot of difference to you as well. Let me just turn the music down slightly so you can appreciate it as I'm saying it. Okay. I am not happy all the time, but I know how to make myself happy. I reframe very quickly. I know things that make me happy, and sometimes it's questioning the unhappy stuff where I go, okay, what can I get out of that that'll make me feel that little bit happier? And as I do that, I change to being happy. So every day I end up being happy at the end of it. I laugh at myself. I know I do stupid stuff. And as I do stupid stuff, I don't care. So I know how to be happy. Most people don't, but here's how you do. All right, number 2, I often say no to things. I don't do things that I hate. And I do it as often as possible with empathy. So I understand that somebody wanted me to do something, and they should understand that it's not something I want to do. I mean, all the time I get asked, Dave, can you be on this podcast? Dave, can you do an interview? Dave, can you do this? And I love doing podcasts. I love meeting people, but I'm really busy. So I can't do it all the time. Even today, I'm doing I'm doing 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 interviews, plus this show to do today, plus a client coaching today. Now, add that to my family and other tasks, some space for me as well. And suddenly it ends up with not a lot of things, a lot of time left in a day. So you have to turn around sometimes and be cruel, but be kind, because otherwise there's none left for you when you're giving yourself to everybody else. Number 3, I've never had life easy. I don't think anybody has really, even if you're born super rich and super life is... It's like if you have a splinter in your finger. Imagine having a splinter in your finger. It's got to hurt, yep. And even though it's tiny, you get it out and you go, ow! Now the rest of your body is fine. That one splinter can really hurt. So my life's not been easy. I don't expect it to be easy, but I value every part of it. I value the friends I've kept. I value the friends I haven't kept, lesser degree. And I value the opportunities that come my way. I never take anything for granted because you never know when it's going to be taken away from you. But I do live up to as much as I can for my promise, and I enjoy as much as I can when I get the chance. Does that make sense to you? Right on the money. Number 4, I often mess up. I do mess up with things quite a lot. Every show is done live, so therefore I can make a mistake. And sometimes I say things that come out of my mouth. And I want to, in fact, my early shows, if you look back, if you can be bothered. And you'll find a couple of episodes where really bad Fs and Jeffs come out. Usually off screen because I hadn't realized that my microphone was still on and I pressed the wrong button. It happens. Part of a learning curve. You learn not to when your friend rings you up in London, says, Dave, yeah, did you just swear then? No. Did you? No. Okay, have a look at the video once you're finished. And you listen back and you realize F and Jeff came out to play. Not good. But it's fun. And that's just life. You know, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to mess it up a couple of times maybe. But if I mess it up a couple of times, each time I have changed it and then it wasn't quite the right shape and the right fitting. But getting out my comfort zone and testing myself is what life's truly all about. Most people don't do it. Most people just say, that's it, that's all there is. And I think they're making a massive mistake because how do you know that your life was worth anything if you didn't test yourself? Nobody gives you a silver spoon and a roadmap and a load of cash and says, go out and change the world. You have to create all this stuff yourself. And I find that fascinating. And I find it daunting and challenging, but I wouldn't want it any other way. Number 5, when the world upsets me, and it does frequently, daily, I upset it. I change my relationship, I reframe what the world has just done to me, and then suddenly life becomes better. Sometimes I sulk. Yesterday, I didn't broadcast, I had a bit of a sulk instead. And then my family brought me out of it and said, look, the world's better. And today the world is much better. Politically speaking, as much as everything else, I feel much more vindicated. Personally as well, much more happy. But days happen, and sometimes you need the people around you to love you and despite yourself, kick yourself up the butt and say, right, you don't have to be like this. Let's go out. I don't want to go out. Go out. I don't want to go out. To me yesterday, kicking and screaming, holding onto the door frame while my wife said, get in the car. I don't want to get in the car. But I did. And I look forward to having the birthday cake that's left over from me popping out with the family yesterday. Number 6. Know that you are enough. I am enough to do what I need in my life. I'm enough to be able to go out and create a wonderful TV show and inspire a tribe and teach people to be able to speak and to grow their own personal brands and make a ton of money for me and for everybody else while doing it. The Industry Icon Program is one of the most exciting things I've ever done, and I find that everybody who gets involved and throws themselves into it finds it the most exciting. Imagine branding yourself and getting the most you can out of your life. How could that not be exciting? How could that not be good? And I don't understand people who don't find it exciting, but I don't care. That's their choice. It's my choice to do it. So I get as much as I can out of life. I share that dream with as many people as I can. And I don't care if I look stupid while doing it, because I'd rather look stupid and give it a go than sit at the back and go, ha ha ha, you're all idiots. Because I've had the experience of doing something on both sides. And I know I am enough, and I know I can do it. And for a thing, how do you deal with people who turn around and say, Dave, you're not enough? Well, I just say to what I told my daughter, Maya, when she was able to understand speech. I said, if people don't like what you say or what you do, you can tell them from daddy, and including if it is daddy and it is mummy, tell them to kiss it. Kiss your hiney. Because that's their problem, not yours. And I truly stand by that as much now as I did before. Okay, number 7. I'll just move my head because my head's kind of in the way there. I should have moved it before, but there you go. It's just one of those things I'm deciding wrong. Okay, so I know that everybody's doing the best that they can. These are things that I've learned. And when I say I mean you now have been introduced to some of the most important rules that I've got in life. Everybody's doing the best that they can. Sometimes they're doing stuff that doesn't work well for me. Sometimes I have a direct problem with the way that they do stuff. They see the world. They enact to do stuff that doesn't help me and make my life better. But I know in their world, they're doing the best that they can for what they experience it. Sometimes you look at life and you realize that you were wrong. And you go, oh my goodness, everything I said there was completely wrong. I'm so sorry. That's what happens sometimes. And sometimes there's people who don't admit it and they just leave it where it is. I only do what I believe is right, but I'm happy to turn around and say, you know what, hands up, I got it wrong as well. And that's part of the learning process, okay? And everybody else is as well. So when you hate somebody and they're your polar opposite, so when you got 2 politicians fighting against each other, and we've had a lot of this, especially in America right now, all the politicians, and more than the politicians, supporters, you have a Democrat or Republican, you're both right. In your world, you're right that your side needs to be like that. But also appreciate that in the other person's side, they are right in their way of seeing the world for them. So accept that you both want a different thing and work out a win-win negotiation, which I'll do completely properly in a different episode. Number 8, I can refocus easily. Let's see what I wrote there. Okay. There's three things here. I refocus my life very easily. If I'm working on something, I go, you know what, this is what I need to do instead. I reframe very quickly, so that works for me, that doesn't. And I never tell lies. And you're saying, Dave, everyone tells lies. Well, yes and no. I've just told a lie. I haven't. I live by the idea that in order to tell a lie, you have to be able to say 15 lies for each lie. And if you say 15 lies for each lie, then that means for each of those 15, you need to know another 15 lies. And for each of those 15, you need... And I'm not smart enough, and I don't care enough to spend all that time working out whether lies work or not. I'd rather be transparent. So I am. And if that means I fall out with somebody, or that means that they don't like me anymore, then that's part of life. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't walk around saying horrible things to people. You've got a big nose, you smell, and your wife is too close to that guy when you go to work. Never, ever... Well, maybe... No, I don't do that. But I don't have to tell everybody all the time, all the truth either. So you find a balance that allows you to feel that you are being genuine, and also you can let people feel better after they've met you. Does that make sense? Yes, good, thank you. Okay, so I also take risks all the time. Not stupid risks, calculated risks. If you know me very well, and you've been a follower of a show or a friend of a show for some time, you know my phrase, my signature phrase is jump and grow wings on the way down. Take risks, but make calculated risks, but do commit yourself and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? You fall and hurt your knee? Fine. What's the best that can happen? You reach the other side and learn something amazingly beautiful on the way. Number 9, you can't see this properly. I'll move to one side. Should I move to that? No, the chair doesn't move, does it? If I go to that side, no, that's worse. If I go to that side with a chair, like that, can you see that? Yeah, you've lost me, and I'll just come back in again like this. All right, here's number 9. I will never grow up. I am now 53 as of my birthday yesterday. I act like I'm 13, not a stupid 13, but a 13 in my attitude about life and the excitement. Remember when you just turned 13 and you go, I'm a teenager now. I can do what I want. I don't really know what I want to do, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And if you're telling me that you grew up and suddenly the world became a roadmap in front of you, then I don't believe you. What I do believe is you might have turned around and said, right, I'm going to be a grown-up now. I'm not going to have as much fun as I did when I was a kid. Or maybe you didn't have fun as a kid. I don't know. For me, it's the opposite. I enjoyed the mindset I had as a kid. I still have a laugh. I still enjoy doing stuff like that. Every now and again, I'll go like this with the noise makers.
I said no.
I don't use them anymore on the show, but I could do, and I had fun when I used them. I don't mind the fact that sometimes it comes across as a little bit childish, because that makes me happy. And happiness is all you're going to have. At the end of the day, money's not going to get you where you want to get. It'll help, but the happiness inside you is inspired by what money can get you. So it's a combination of everything. If you can start off with the happiness, then you don't need much more. But you do need to pay rent, you do need to eat, and you do need to be able to buy some glamorous clothes, darling. You know what I mean? And finally, number 10. I'm going to move completely out of the scene for this one. Can you see this? Next time, remember not to put it like that, Dave. Yes, I know. Thank you for that. So let's go to what that actually means. Right. So what I'm saying is I never lie. I love all races. I forgot what the other one said there. Oh, yeah. I hate hypocrisy, people who tell lies all the time, and I don't like BS. Bull. You know what I mean? Those are very important things to me. I hate those ideas of being in life. And I also think that all races, you should love everybody. Have more fun. There's better food, there's better people out there than people that you already know. Guaranteed. I'm a Brit, and I'm proud to be Brit. But I realised that when I left Britain, the idea of Great Britain wasn't quite true. Sure, it was great in the past. Sure, it's got some great things about it now. But the rest of the world's got loads of really great things that if you just think it's only us as a Brit, you're missing out on. I've been to so many different countries, and when I arrive, sometimes I go, ugh, but most of the time I go, ooh, oh, that's nice. Sometimes it's a food. Sometimes it's somebody shares something with you. Sometimes it's a custom. Sometimes it's the way that people dress or people act, or they're really welcoming. One of the mistakes that people make is they don't realize that in Dubai and in the Middle East and in Muslim culture, how welcoming they are. They really do have it built in to be nice to people. Because when they look at certain things on TV, they go, oh no, it can't be like that. You have no idea. When you've got the holy month of Ramadan in Dubai, for instance, or anywhere around the world, it's not a business month. That month is about connecting with family and caring about people and helping the poor. Bit like Lent in Christianity. And so it's easy to misconstrue people by just prejudging them, saying that's the color of their skin, that's their politics, that's where they live, that's the way that they look. It's just daft. So these are the top 10 secrets that I could come up with, that when thinking about it on my birthday, my life is run by these 10 rules and more, but I could only fit in 10. In fact, I couldn't really fit in 10 because I'm covering half of them with a big fat head. But I hope this gave you some value and it helped you to understand really where I come from. It's Speak on Stage. So with that, it's almost time to call an end of play for the show. If you've enjoyed the show today about happiness and all the different elements that make me happy, that you could be happy, that you could aim for, I think they all come together under a thing called the Industry Icon Program. And whether you work with me or you work with it on yourself, there's a survey that's free for you to be able to test how good you are and how good your actual branding is. You might not have thought about it before, and I understand that, but nowadays with people being online and being connected, if you haven't considered your brand, how are people going to actually appreciate your brand and want to be connected and do stuff with you? So what I put together is a survey that you can do, which allows you to be able to work out how effective you are with your brand online and offline. So if you can see here, I showed you earlier, if you just joined me on the show, that gold, here it is, that gold button there saying Industry Icon. Go to SpeakOnstage.com, SpeakOnstage.com. Then go to that page, which is the front page. Click on the Industry Icon button. You can see it just above me now. And then it will take you to a page that looks very much like this. With this, you'll see how you can do a survey. So there's the survey. Take the free survey. It's about 20 questions, and you can work out from a scoring point of view how effective you are in business, in your brand, your relationships with people, and also gives you a ton of clues about how you can move forward. Then you can get a roadmap of how we can work together and how you can work on your own brand, or you can chat to me, book me on a calendar link, or just go off and do your own thing. It's up to you. It's completely free. Okay? Working with me, I'll charge you because that's what I do for a living. But if you just want to do this on your own, but get an insight into how to start, then go along, take the survey, and I guarantee that all the amazing things in your life that you wanted to have. These include being able to have your own TV show, have your own podcast, write your own book, create videos and posts online that are really effective, run a business so you're not paying anything for advertising, you just end up spending time creating great content that people love. It means a better relationship with your life, your family, your friends, the people, your work colleagues, your potential clients. You have a better relationship with them because you're happy and you seem like a breath of fresh air when you come in. All those things are part of the Industry Icon Program. And I've spent many years as a hypnotherapist and life coach. So it's not just about your ability to create media. It's about how it all comes together, a full, holistic answer to you being able to brand yourself, be successful, and also be able to sleep well at night, knowing that you're doing the right thing by everybody, not just for yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Be honest with me. Yes, Dave, it does. Thank you. And you see my lips move. Wow. What a show. Look at the time. I can't believe it's been going on so long. Neither can we, Dave. Shut up. Well, I have rushed through it, and I haven't finished my cup of tea, so cheers. And it's got my Christmas Rudolph on it, because we're closer to Christmas. I started using this mug in January, when I was doing the toilet paper diaries with Ernesto. And it's just become ultra relevant, because it's almost Christmas. Have you done your shopping yet? No. Have you put your tree up yet? No. But I'll tell you, when you see what we're doing for Christmas, you just go, oh, Dave, that's really lovely. And it's almost like you'll hear in the background, la 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 la. It's going to feel really Christmassy, close to Christmas. And Thanksgiving, we'll probably do something for Thanksgiving as well. And Diwali, we'll do something for Diwali. And anything else, Chinese New Year, is that gone? Is that coming? Any other holidays that we should? I'll find out. So today's show, as I mentioned earlier, was all about the ability to understand really what makes us tick. And I wanted to share with you a load of special secrets about creating happiness in your life. There you go. That was me on stage at NASA in Houston, Texas, a year and a half ago, before we all went into lockdown and weren't allowed to go out to play anymore. I hope you got a lot out of it. Remember, if you're looking for a place to start with all this, what you should do is look at the Ikigai. Google Ikigai. I already showed you what the diagram looks like. Also, work out what happiness is to you, not to anybody else, because you're the only person that can experience it. Get more mindful, do meditation, do all this stuff. You can get them for free online, or you can buy courses. They're really, really good. And also, stop being brutal with yourself. Be kind to yourself as much as anything, because if you're saying horrible things to yourself, and often that's because a parent was horrible to you and told you, and you start doing that when they're not there, like Stockholm Syndrome, then you end up having a horrible life where you beat yourself up all the time. I laugh all the time, and I mess up all the time. Even when I'm unhappy, I laugh and just say, you're really boring now, snap out of it. Or I'll say, you know what, I'm going to stay like this, sod all of you, I'm going to watch some TV. And I'll do that until I feel better. There's no set rules apart from the ones that you have, because one day when it's all over, you will be the only one that's left saying, I really cared about that, because nobody else cares. They're all too busy thinking about their own stuff. So it's important to define yourself every single day. And with that, it's come to the end of the show. It's been an honor having you with me. I hope you enjoyed it. So this would have been my birthday special yesterday, but instead it's kind of today, and I hope it's worth waiting for. I'm going to leave you with a motivational video. This is Your Redefinition, and it's all about all the stuff we did during the show and more. It's a pleasure having you with me. Look forward to doing another show with you soon. Stay groovy. I think this is episode 73. 73? Who could have imagined? Go to YouTube, look through my back catalogue, see if there's a subject that you're looking for answers to. If not, let me know what you're missing, and I'll make a show for you in the future. That's what I do. That's how crazy it is. Love you. Stay groovy. Bye-bye. I want to ask you a question. What defines you? What if you lost your money, you lost your job, you lost your house, you lost your shoes, you lost your friends, you lost the ability to turn around and say to people, this is what I want from my life? What if you had no rights? What if you had no clothes? What if you had nowhere to live? What if your passport went and you lost your ability to take a plane to anywhere in the world? What if a bank didn't recognize you? What if nobody recognized you? What if you lost your health? And on top of that, you lost your will? What would you be after all those things? The truth is, you would still be you. Your phone, your gadgets, the people around you, they're what define you right now, but that's not who you truly are. The person you truly are is whoever you decide that you're going to be. And you can decide that person every single day. Every day you have a choice. You can stay where you are. You can look at the past. You can look at all the trophies on the shelf and the photos and the selfies of the places that you've been and the people you've met. And you can say, that is me. Or you can say, that was me yesterday. The one that comes today and the one that comes tomorrow. It could be anybody. And the adventure is, I'm going to define them right now. And that's why you create a roadmap and you define yourself every single day.